Hi guys, I'm Shubham and welcome back to Project Pandas. So in this particular video, we would be exploring about sorting functionalities of Pandas. So let's get started. One thing I would be doing here differently is instead of loading a series directly from a data frame or loading it from a CSV, I would be building a series right here, right now from a dictionary. Reason for doing so is to make you guys familiar with these kinds of processes. So let's move forward. If you have to understand the dictionary, the keys here represents the months and the value here represents the sales of that particular company in millions. And in some cases, you would see that the sales is none, uh, signifying that the sales department closed in that particular month. So let's load it into a series. One thing you would notice differently is instead of pd.read.csv, I am writing pd.series and passing dictionary in it. So let's see what it looks like. So it looks something like this. The keys here have become its index and the value here has become the values of the series. And in some cases where it was none, it was replaced by np.nan, that is the null value in numpy. So now let's try to sort it. Basically, there are two ways you can go about sorting. Either you can sort it with the help of index or you can sort it with the help of the values. So let's try the index part one. The command for that is sort index. And if you see index happened to be a string here, so it was sorted alphabetically starting from April and ending in September in right alphabetical order and extending in nature. Another is sales dot sort values. So it was sorted according to values. As you can see, it's also ascending in nature and the null values were kept for last. So let's dive a little deeper into the sort values function. So what all parameters we could pass here is you don't have to worry about access if you are passing a series. There is just one access here. So another is ascending. So as you can see, by default ascending is true. So whenever you if you don't type if you don't give a pass the ascending command as false, it would always be sorted ascending in ascending fashion. But if you pass it as false, it is sorted descendingly. Another thing that useful parameters and positions. So null values by default are placed at the bottom, but if you want them to be at the first, you can pass it as na values is equal to first and done. Now let's load a data set and try to perform these functions on it. So sort values, it looks very simple, very straightforward, but if you use it creatively, it can be used to solve, to get inference about many things about the data. So let's look into it. First of all, let's read the CSV. It's the Titanic data set again. So let's say we want to sort age. AGE. Pretty simple. Oh, I'm sorry. Sort values. And you see it has been sorted and null values have been kept for last. But and if we want to do it in descending manner, we can pass ascending as false. So now if I ask you, can you tell me the the top, the oldest, top most oldest person, 10 most oldest person, and 10 most youngest person who embarked on the Titanic? How would you go about it? So pause the video and try it for yourself if you want to. If not, let's go ahead. So what we could do is we could sort. We could first write age dot sort values, and that then we could use the ILOC operator, anything to 5. So you see the top, the 5 most youngest people have been selected. If you want to select that 10 most youngest people, they are also have been selected. And if you want to get the 10 most oldest people, what you could do here is same thing, but in the ILOC operator, either you could change that to -10. So these things wouldn't work because the null values were placed at the last. We do not want the null values. We want exact figures of the known of the person. I mean, so we see we get null numbers np.nan here, and we don't want that. We want to know the what were the top, what were the 10 most oldest people there. So there are many ways you can go about it. First thing what we could do is we can pass any position as first. Now we get the age of the 10 most oldest people. Another way to go about this is we keep it like this, and we pass any position is equal to, not any position, or actually ascending is equal to false. So again we get the same result of 10 most oldest people. Here just the difference is I mean it's reversed, but we still get the same values. And one more way you can do this is by pandas functions and largest and smallest. So let's try to do that. Df dot age, we want the n largest and the number being 10. So we get the same result as here, the 10 most oldest people. And if we do age dot n smallest 10, we get the top, I mean 10 most youngest people on the ship. So I mean it seems simpler to go by n largest and n smallest, but after a while you tend to forget these commands, and it's better to have understanding of sort values. So it's kind of simpler to do. I mean it's easier to remember. So now let's move forward. I would let's look at the data set we have. So what I want to do is I want to sort my data frame, not the index. So how can I go about it? So we can use again the sort function. Here again we would use sort values, but when you see inside it there is a new parameter called by. It means Pandas is asking by which column do you want to sort its value. So we want to sort it according by age. So we would pass sort age, and you see that age, it has been sorted according to age. The youngest first and the oldest in the at the bottom, and null values at the very last. So now let's do one more thing. If I try to see the data frame, I see that it has been sorted here, but again when I print the data frame here, I see that none of the changes has happened in the original data frame. To make sure these changes are permanent, you can do two things. First thing is that you can overwrite your data frame like this. Now df has become this, so it would. And another thing is, let's sort values by age again, and this time I would want it in descending manner. So ascending is equal to false, but still it's not permanent. There's one more parameter that I could pass as in place is equal to true. So this in place parameter is just not applicable to sort values. You would see in most of the pandas command there is a parameter by in place. So what it really means is it would make sure that the changes are stored in the data frame you are applying the command on. So when I do this here and again check my data frame, I would see that it has been sorted according to the age. So that's all for sorting now. And I think this is all for this video. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.